Hola, hola, people. What's up? So, today I'm going to be talking about what to look for when deciding to make the move abroad. And I think these things can apply to you whether you're looking to make a permanent move and like immigrate to another country, or if you're like me and you want to try the digital nomad lifestyle, hop around a few different places, but you're staying for a longer period of time. I think all of these are things that you should consider before choosing a destination or consider and factor in when deciding to go somewhere and how long you're going to stay there. I think these are very key and they're really what make the difference between when deciding to go somewhere on vacation versus when deciding to go somewhere to like live abroad. Um, because on vacation, it's kind of like you're going there with a pair of rose colored glasses on, and like your whole purpose in going to that destination is to like do all the greatest things and the touristy spots, take all the cute pictures. Like you're going to see like the best of the best that that country has to offer, so you're going to have a good time. As opposed to like when you're living there, yeah, you might still be able to do those things, but a lot more of your time is going to be spent like just living everyday life. And so these are things that you can consider to make sure like those kind of align with what you need and who you are as a person. So the first thing that I have on the list, and it's one that I have discovered for myself personally as a nomad, as a traveler, is most important. And that is considering the weather. Now, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but a lot of the places that I go to are either really warm and above. Like, I actually am someone who does not prefer extreme temperatures, but I definitely don't like the cold. So I don't like it to be super cold, and I also don't like it to be super hot, but I would take the hot over being cold. And so, yeah, this has definitely dictated what type of countries that I choose to live in. Um, you're not going to find me often in Europe during the winter time. Like, I think I did that once, and that was a quick trip. I knocked out three countries in like a week and a half, because I was like, I was only there because it was New Year's, but the cold is not for me. One, I don't do well. I don't function well in the cold. I feel like I'm less motivated. I don't want to get out of the bed. Like cold weather is just not it for me. Um, and two, I don't like having to pack for the cold. Like it's just a lot more stuff I have to put into my suitcase. So that's my personal preference and something that I always consider when choosing destinations. That's a big reason why I love Medellin, Colombia. Like the city of eternal spring is like perfect for me because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and like I can get up every day and like know exactly, okay, this is what the weather's gonna be today. It's gonna be about 60, 70 degrees. It might rain, it might not. Like that's it. And it also greatly influenced where I am right now. I'm in Cochabamba, Bolivia, and it also is the city of eternal spring. So you see the theme, you see the pattern. Um, I will say last year, me being in Vietnam for as long as I was, um, I definitely really enjoyed Vietnam. The weather was not my favorite. The weather I struggled with. It was way too hot for me. I know now that as much as I love Ho Chi Minh City, as much as I love Vietnam, it's probably not somewhere that I would ever go long term. Like I definitely will go back and visit Vietnam for sure, whether that's for vacation or just for like a extended stay. But not only was Ho Chi Minh City itself way too hot for me to deal with on a long term basis, um, they also have really extreme temperatures, or not even extreme temperatures, extreme weather, like the flooding and the the way that the weather can just change so quick. And yeah, I no, it's not my preference, but say that to say weather is a big one for me and definitely one that you should consider because it can have a lot, it can impact a lot, from your mood, from how you really like get adapted and accustomed to the place that you're living, to what you're packing. So that would be number one. Number two would be safety. And this is a big one, especially for women that travel alone, like myself. Um, I think naturally, Black Americans you have a lot of options when it comes to living outside of the US when it comes to safety. Um, you'll find, I mentioned this in my last video, you'll find people that are racist, people that are colorist, people that will discriminate against you everywhere, but it does, the chances of you running into that do decrease a lot outside of the US, depending on where you decide to go. But I think the next thing to really think about as women is safety. There are certain places that I will not go to alone. I don't have to go there to experience it to know that I won't go there alone. I can go based off of either other travelers' experiences or just off of how the like society is ran, the rules, um, whether or not women have certain rights, things like that. So yeah, safety is a big one to consider. Maybe more so than weather. For me, weather is top priority, but safety definitely is up towards the top two, and one that you should factor in when deciding on a destination. Next would be lifestyle fit. And I think this kind of pairs with weather, at least for me, because knowing that hot, humid places or places with extreme temperatures aren't a fit for me, I've learned that I'm not one for the beach. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the beach on vacation, but it needs to be for a vacation. I think anytime that I have tried making my lifestyle work on the beach, it's either really frustrating for me as someone who works every day to try to get work done, either because of like how the infrastructure is set up or just like the vibes of when people are at the beach, nobody's trying to work. And so it is so hard for me to get myself motivated when I'm in those type of environments. And that's not the beach's fault. That's not the people there's fault. That's me. And so I recognize this about myself. And I am more likely to post up in a city than I am in a beach. Um, Now there are some places that give you a mix of both worlds, like Rio is city beach, Cape Town city beach. So there are some places, but actually neither one of those places were fit for me. So I say this to say like lifestyle fit can vary. It really does depend on your personality, your needs, what you're looking for. Um, so yeah, outside of that, I think too, for me, a big one is Wi-Fi, right? Like being a digital nomad, internet is literally my lifeline. It's how I make my living. So having good internet connection is a big one, and that's always a determinant for me as to whether or not I can go places for long-term periods. Like if it's somewhere that I know I want to go, but the Wi-Fi doesn't have good reviews, I'm likely to just like take vacation and go there temporarily. And there are other workarounds too, like you can get a hotspot and travel with that. But for me, it just makes more sense. It makes my life easier to just pick places where I know I can have a strong internet connection. Another example of lifestyle fit is walkability. So I really like walking. Like I prefer today I went to go get lunch. I went to go get lunch. I saw this place on Google Maps. I was like, cool, it's like a 20-minute walk. That's perfect. I can go get my food, come right back. And when I went, even though it was on Google Maps, it's open, it's got great reviews. They actually didn't exist anymore. They were closed. It's like, what? No. So I had stopped and I was asking this guy it's the store owner, this guy that was working at this store nearby, if he knew where the place was. And so he helped me like figure out that they weren't open right now. And so I was like, oh, well, do you have a place that you would recommend? Like, I really just wanted to try like some good Bolivian food. Like, where should I go? So he recommended this place that was, it was like a 12-minute walk. It wasn't too bad, but it is like, this is like peak afternoon. So like it was pretty hot outside. Coming from Ho Chi Minh City, I actually don't think it's that hot, but for the time of day, this is like the hottest time in Bolivia. It's like 75 degrees outside, which is hot and the sun is out, but it's very much breezy and it's not humid here. So it feels very different. As long as I'm walking and moving outside, it's fine. Anyway, so he was like, yeah, it's like a 12-minute walk, but I can call you like a taxi. Like it's too hot to be walking. I was like, no, I like to walk. Like I like to walk. I would prefer to walk. And if I walk to this restaurant, it's actually halfway back towards my house where I was going anyway. So it just made sense to like go and pick up the food. But he kind of gave me this look like, okay, girl. And I was like, yeah, I like to exercise. So I say all that to say, like, walking is a big part of my lifestyle. I like moving my body. I like taking care of my body. That's something that's very important to me. So when I'm somewhere that is walkable, I can incorporate exercise into my everyday routine and I don't have to go out of my way to like get my steps in or like making sure that I'm moving my body. So for me, that's a big one too. So those are some examples of lifestyle fit that you want to think about when choosing your destination. Okay, so the next thing to consider would be cultural fit. And I don't know if cultural fit is the best way to describe it, but to me this means like how you feel interacting with the society, the people that are in this place. And this might be something that you don't quite figure out until you get to the destination and like spend some time there because I do think it's very personal. It really much depends on the individual. But it is something to factor in, and it's why it's so important to talk to people who look like you, who may be able to have shared experiences with you or have a similar like perspective, come from a similar background as you, to give you some insight into what you can expect. So an example that stands out to me with this is like as a Black woman, even more specifically a Black American woman, going and staying somewhere in like Eastern Europe where like nobody looks like me, or somewhere where it's like even Asia, right? Asia, you certain places you may not see a Black person for a very long time, depending on where you are. I haven't been to China, but you know, I've heard and seen like how people are received and how people react to seeing, you know, Black people visit or live there. Um, so Vietnam is probably a really good example of that from me. People people in Vietnam stare all the time. Like they stare nonstop. If you watched my podcast episode with Whitney, she talked about like when she first got to Vietnam and being in Hanoi, how she really had to get used to how much people stare because you stand out so much in Vietnam. It's yeah, you stand out and people will just stare because you stand out. And so if you're someone who like isn't accustomed to being seen so much, because it's not necessarily like a bad stare, but it is like a blatant stare. Like that's just part of the culture. Like they stare when something is interesting to them. Like, um, but yeah, if you're not accustomed to that, that can be an extreme culture shock, right? Um, I think when I went to Croatia is another time when this stood out to me. Because I was like the only Black, I don't know if I even saw any other Black people in Croatia. I don't know if I saw anything but white people in Croatia, honestly. But when I went with the thinking that like everyone was gonna be staring at me. Or like, I don't know, that it would be very like it was already obvious to me that I was like a zebra walking around in the middle some some place outside of the zoo. That's how I felt. But honestly, like it looked that way. But if I went based off of how people treated me, I felt the most human. Like I just felt like a person. Like that's there was no skin tone, there was no difference. Like I was just another person. Nobody treated me any differently. Like so once I got past the fact of like, dang, everybody here is white and then there's me, then it was just like me existing in this world. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean by like cultural fit, like how you feel being a part of society in that place that you go to. And so that might take some on the ground research and really doing a deep dive and talking to people that live in the place that you want to go to. But it's a big one that can make or break your experience there. Um, and even going beyond that, outside of like society, also just like community. If you're able to like find community, find people that you vibe with, that can really make or break too. Because like we need people, we need to be able to interact with people and be comfortable in our skin. Okay, so the last one is cost of living. And I think this one is a given. I think this is honestly the first one that everyone jumps to when they're looking at where they want to move to, because it's like a big move, and it's like, can I afford to live here? So it does matter. It does matter, but I do think the other things that I mentioned, they hold more weight than we might give to when thinking about where to move abroad. Because just because a place is affordable because you have USD doesn't mean that it's going to be a good fit. You know, like no, excuse me, no matter how much money you can save by living there, if you don't enjoy being there, if you feel like a outcast, if you're not feeling like you can really like intertwine your life in there and be comfortable into society and be comfortable, you're not going to want to stay there. Like it's not going to be worth whatever you're saving in dollars, in money. So yeah, that's my little tidbit for today that I wanted to share with you all. If you are someone who is currently living abroad and there's something else that you feel is really important to consider when deciding where you want to move to, definitely share that down below in the comments. Let us know. Let me know because I'm curious if there's anything that I left out. And if you are still in the process of figuring out where you want to go, and wanting to work through different details, such as everything I mentioned here, including cost of living, I do have a guide that you can grab. It's in the description box down below. It's a free guide. You can just use it to really do a deep dive research into different countries and figure out what is a good fit for you. It does lead with cost of living, but you're also able to, it points you to some resources where you can do a deep dive into the other things that I mentioned as well. Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you all today. Thanks so much for watching as always, and be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share this with someone who is thinking about moving abroad and might need some guidance in picking where they want to go. And y'all know the drill. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.